This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, this is Steve Rybrook from Forvis. This little video is to demonstrate the new features in our CRM for oil and gas that we added in October of 2022. I'm going to spend a few minutes describing the features, and then I'm going to jump right into CRM and show you those. If you do have any questions or have any problems, you can reach out to our support team. My contact information is on here as well. So what are the new features that we're going to roll out in October 2022? First thing I wanted to add or mention was a new dashboard. So a very interactive dashboard where you can enter a salesperson, a user, or multiple, and a range of dates, and it will look back at all the data and give you some good information about opportunities, leads, and activities related to that date range and the sales folks that you selected. Another thing that's become more popular in CRM is activities. One feature that we already had on the phone call activity was the complete and follow-up button. For those of you who are familiar with that, you know how popular that is and how convenient that is. We've been asked to add that feature to tasks and appointments. So we did that in this release. And because activities are becoming more popular, we made it easier for you to see them on accounts, opportunities, contacts, and leads. So I will show you all of that. A couple other things that we're going to do in this release is we've given users the ability to search for active accounts and open leads, even if they don't have access. So as many of you know, you may have a security model that narrows down what you see in CRM, what you have access to maybe your accounts, your leads, your opportunities. And that works out really great because then you don't see a lot of clutter in CRM. You just see your stuff, which is so nice. The one negative that that model has is if you're researching a potential customer, you don't know if they already are a customer or somebody is working a lead for them already. And the only way to get that information is to call or email somebody in the office, a coworker. Maybe if you have access to your accounting system, you could look there, but that's only going to show you if they're a customer. You wouldn't know if anybody's working them as a lead. So this is going to be really nice for those companies that do have their security model set up as I described. Okay, a couple other things. If you schedule reports using Dashboard 97, very popular feature in our system, we now are going to allow you to enter a specific date range when you do that, and I'll demonstrate that. For those of you who are sending product balance information from your accounting system, we're going to give you easy access to see that data. We've added some price information to the very popular 12-month product summary screen that you see on the account form. Then we made a few small changes to leads and opportunities where we try to make it a little bit more intuitive. The question that you have to answer when you qualify the lead, right now the question starts out no, and you have to click it to change it to yes. And that can be very confusing to say, okay, to qualify a lead, I need to click no. Like, why would I click no? That makes no sense. Well, once you understand that it's just kind of a yes, no, you're basically changing the answer from no to yes by clicking on it. But we've changed that to make it a little bit more intuitive, and you get the same question when you go to win an opportunity. So I'll show you that. And then finally, a few of you on the call might be involved with this, but usually there's one or two people within an organization, if you even do this, set gross profit or volume goals. Usually that's done once a year. And that can be a little bit tricky. So we just added some of the gotchas to that screen. Even though they're already documented and on videos, it's nice to have them right in front of you on the screen as you're working on setting those goals. So that's it. Again, just a reminder, here's our contact information, but I'm going to flip over to CRM. Actually, I'm going to just get rid of this PowerPoint here real quick, slide this over so I can use that kind of as an agenda. And then I'm going to just do all this right in CRM. All right, so here we are. What's the first one? That interactive dashboard that I'm so excited about. So I'm going to go into Workplace and Dashboards. And we already have dashboard 11A, which is a very static dashboard. Dashboard 11B is the new one where it defaults to you know, whoever is using the system, but I could click on here, and if I have access to other users and their information, I could add. You can just pick as many people as you want, and the data is going to start changing. I'll just leave it myself. It also defaults to last month, but you can change this date range to pretty much anything you want. I'm going to go way back in time to get more data. And you see, just as I'm changing my selections, it's changing what it's showing me here. So it's letting me know, like, how many opportunities did Steve win in this time period? And then it lists them. And I could click on any one of these, which I'll do right now, just to show you. If I double click on it, it will open it up. It actually opens up that opportunity, but in another tab, if you will, on my browser. So then when I'm all done, I can just close out of that, and I'm right back to where I was. So pretty efficient from that respect. It also shows how many leads that were lost, and it lists them, how many opportunities were created. And then this doesn't use the date range. It's basically just showing how many opportunities, in this case, does Steve have open. So that's that. Okay, and then if I scroll down a little bit, it shows me how many leads I currently have, and then how many activities I completed and how many I created over that time period. And as of right now, how many do I have open? And finally, on this screen, just to save some real estate, because this could get kind of long, we give you the option here if you want to actually show those activities or if you want to hide them. And you can do that to all three of these. So pretty cool dashboard. Let's move on to activities. I'm going to jump over to my famous Fairview Manufacturing account, which I use quite often. Here's Fairview Manufacturing, and I believe I have some activities for this account. At least I hope I do. So for those of you who are familiar with your complete and follow up on a phone call, I'll just show you that real quick. So here's a phone call activity. What I can do is, let's say I'm making this phone call. I can update my notes on what we talked about today. And then when I'm all done, I could just mark this complete, and then I could go create another phone call. But usually a phone call leads to another phone call. Right? So in this case, you know, I'm talking to this customer and they say, hey, why don't you call me back, you know, check in on things in 3 months. Okay, great. So in this case, I have this phone call. I could hit this complete and follow up. And what it's going to do is it's going to mark this activity complete and make a copy of it with the due date due a week from now. So today is September 28th. So it made it due the 22nd. I could add some more notes in here if I wanted to. I could change this date out, you know, to be out 3 months or whatever. And then just hit save or save and close. And now I've got another opportunity out there. I'm going to just jump right back to Fairview Manufacturing, use that shortcut. So basically we did the same thing for tasks and appointments. So I'm not going to bore you showing you, you know, all of these, but if I just open up a task, there's that same complete and follow up button. So I could do the same thing. You can use this pretty much any way you want, right? It's like, if you don't want to use it, fine. But if a task leads to another task, you know, maybe you use tasks rather than phone calls. So you visited the customer, or you did something for the customer, some preventative maintenance, something, and then you have to do it again next year or next month or whatever. So you could just, you know, update this and then do complete and follow up, and it'll mark this one complete and then create another one for you. And again, you can always change the due date after it creates the new one for you. The other thing that I mentioned is, because activities are getting more popular, we've added them to a lot of screens. So I'll just go through this real quick. I'll just pull up each one of these. So I'm just going to grab any old opportunity. And on the quote and activity tab, we used to show you open activities. And then if you needed to see any closed activities, you had to go to related and pick activities and find the closed activity view. Well, now you see them right below the open activities. So you've got all your open ones and then another grid showing you the closed ones. We did that exact same thing on accounts. So Could have just did that right with Fairview there. Let's just pull Fairview up again. Well, here's Fairview Manufacturing. I go to the activity tab, and here are the open activities, which was always there, but now we added a little grid below that showing you the closed activities. So it's closed going, backwards in time, basically. And then for contacts, some folks enter their activities, they tie them to a contact. So we didn't have any tab on here for activities. So now it's going to be kind of nice. You go to this activity tab. You can create activities from here. You can view any open activities. You can view any closed activities that are linked to this contact. And then we did the same thing for leads. So if I'm looking at a lead, I can go to this activity tab to create and view open and closed activities. So pretty cool stuff there. The other thing I mentioned was this new search feature. So it's kind of simple. We put it just below products on the sales menu over here. So if I go to this account and lead search button, this is a new feature, and we put a little documentation in here, a little note on what this is. This isn't used to access a lot of data and pull up records. It's used to just give you a list. So you can't click on anything once you see a list and go into it, because the thought is you might not have access to it. This is just to let you know if something exists. So if I put in, let's say, oil, I'm probably going to get a lot, but I just want to demonstrate. So I'm searching for oil pretty much anywhere, where here's a bunch of accounts that have the word oil in them. And some of these are not mine. Here's Michael's, and there's one for Sean, and here's a bunch more for Michael. There's some leads. Here's a lead that Sean is working on. So I'm seeing everybody's, even if I don't have access to these records. So at least I know if, let's say, maybe to get more specific, I'll put in Smith Oil. And I just wanted to check, maybe I was thinking of stopping by to see if they're interested in talking to me about our company. And I find out that Sean is already working that lead. So now I don't have to call anybody to find out. I can just look at myself. So right here, kind of over on the left-hand side in the sales area, is account and lead search. Another feature I promised I would demonstrate was our new dashboard scheduling report option. So as some of you know, you can go into Dashboard 97 to request reports, and they get emailed to you, or you can schedule them. So I could pick any report here, put in a range of dates, and go down and request a report, or I could hit this button to schedule a report. And when I do that, I get all of these options for a date range. So I could run this report, let's say, from the first of the fiscal year to today, and then I could schedule this to run every week. So I'm going to get a different report every day. So why would I want to run a report where I would schedule a report where I would enter a date range? Because let's say it's September right now, and maybe I want to run the report from the first of the year through the end of August. Well, I could do that, but then if I go to schedule that, I'm basically going to get the same report with the same results every single time it runs. So why would I want to do that? Well, we have some creative customers. So we have some folks who asked for this because what they do is they want to put in a date range that's going to extend into the future. So they might put in, 7/1/22 to 9/30/22, and they might do that in July, and then they might run this. They might schedule this to run, let's say, every Sunday at the middle of the night. So they come in Monday, and this report is there. Well, even though the dates are static, as you know, if it's July and then August and then early September, every night order history data comes into CRM. And so this report is actually going to look different, even though the date range is exactly the same as what it was last week, because you put an end date out in the future. Now, when it gets to be October, maybe the middle of October, and there's going to be no more order history coming in for this time frame, then this report will look exactly the same every time it runs. So at that point, you'd probably just go to your saved reports and inactivate this scheduled report, because why would you want the same report delivered to you every week? But anyway, cool idea to put in a date range into the future. All right. We also talked about easy access to product balances. So that back into the sales area, if I go into products and I just want to pull up a product, I think I have one in here with some data in it. So this screen, if I open this up, used to just list basic information about a product, right? What product segment they're in, what product category they're in, a couple other things. But now, if this data does come over from your accounting system, it'll appear right below the specific product. So it's going to show you how many you have on hand at each location, assuming that this data is coming over from your accounting system. So that's kind of nice. Also on that 12-month summary, I promised to show you that we added a couple columns to that. So I'm going to go to my famous Fairview again. Not that I have to, because we have a lot of other accounts with data in here, but this is just easier for me. So on this product summary tab for an account, we show you the last 12 months of data summarized by product, showing the product that bought the most from you down to the product they bought the least. And it shows you things like how much revenue was brought in the last 12 months, how much gross profit you made, how much you made per gallon the last time they ordered. But again, from your accounting system, if you send us that account product price file, which is like special prices for a customer, we'll show you that answer right here tied to this product. And there's also an option to send in price lists. And then you might have 2 or 3 or 4 different price lists. And then you can say what an account's default price list is. And then we'll show you that answer as well. So all of this has to do with the data coming from your accounting system. So if you don't send it, obviously you're going to see a lot of zeros here. Okay. Oh yeah, small change to leads. So I'm just going to open up the lead screen. And as you recall, if you go to qualify a lead, I've always trained everybody, hit the bullseye, change no to yes, and hit save. Well, now you hit the bullseye and you're not going to change no to yes, because that was confusing when you got qualify, and this used to say no. Now it says click to qualify. And when you qualify it, when you click that, then you hit save, and it's the same thing. It doesn't say no here to start. It says click to qualify. So hopefully that's a little bit more intuitive. That exact same question appears, or that that yes no question appears when you go to win an opportunity. So if you have an opportunity that's over here in activate and transition, and you click the bullseye, it's used to say closes one, and it said no, and you clicked it to change it to yes. Well, now it just says click to close, because close as one and then it's saying no wasn't very intuitive. So hopefully this is, and hopefully these words don't produce a lot of more confusion. We're hoping this is a step in the right direction. And then finally, the last thing I mentioned was for folks who set goals, they use this goals upload wizard. That's all we really did was we added some of these notes that are gotchas, because basically somebody is building a spreadsheet and then they're saving it as a CSV file, and then they're entering that file here. Actually, they're finding the file here, they're putting in the fiscal year here, and then they're hitting next. And even though this is documented in a document, a Word document, and it's also on a video, it's nice to have these notes right here in front of you. So things like, hey, remember your file that you're uploading shouldn't have any negative amounts. It needs to have whole numbers. We really don't support decimal places for setting goals. We're not going to set a goal to the 0.42 cents level. We also, because you're importing data, we don't want any editing to your numbers. So we don't want dollar signs and commas and anything like that, right? We just want numbers to be able to load into CRM. So anyway, hopefully this helps out those folks who struggle with setting goals, because you typically only do that once a year. And so it's pretty tough to remember all the gotchas. So that's it. Hopefully everybody appreciates and gets to take advantage of all the cool features we added in October 2022 to our CRM for oil and gas. Thanks so much for listening. Have an awesome day. Bye now.